Alright, it's the number 108 of my accountability to myself. I appreciate everyone's attention who watches this, and today I will try to bring up a subject that I wanted to mention a couple of days ago, but I've been thinking about this for about 20 minutes and I tried to explain it somehow to myself, but still I can miss a lot of details. So I will try to explain it, but most likely I'm gonna mention about this tomorrow or in a couple of days. And also I will mention about today because it was such an interesting day. It was not really productive, but it was interesting. And so the first topic that I would like to bring up is the essence of saying I tried. Like when you actually want to get something, and when you set a goal and you actually want to reach that goal, and you start take some actions, you start investigate that area and learn about this, and then you realize that it's going to be harder than you expected. There are some milestones that you need to hit. There are some fears that you need to go through in order to actually achieve what you want. And in those very moments, we are tend to give up. And then we are saying, I tried. And the thing is that we expect to get credit for this phrase, I tried. But the world doesn't work in that way. Like, it doesn't care how much you want this, how much you're motivated, how hard you tried for 1 week. It basically doesn't work that way. And the only problem of the phrase I tried is that it's your expectations, because you expected it to cost less, you expected it to be easier, and you expected it to be faster. And the only thing that your expectations were wrong about the thing you want to achieve, and that's why it's kind of harder. And instead of keep going to that aim, you just give up and say I tried, and you expect to be rewarded for the phrase I tried. It's a great analogy of that is that imagine you come to the store and you are seeing a great pair of shoes, Jordans, and you just imagine how you wear them, and how great they are, how everyone pays attention to you. Whatever you imagine, you already enjoy how you're gonna wearing them. And then you check the price tag and it costs $300. And then you check how much money do you have in your pocket and you have $50. And in this very moment, you have only two options. The first option, you are saying, it's not for me. It's just not for me, right? And the second option, you say, all right, I will keep working and I will keep improving so I can save more money and I can return and afford this. And affording a goal is a lot about the time you need to actually spend for that goal, about sacrifices when you need to reject some temptations that your friends offer you or something like that, when you actually need to work for not for a week, not for a month, but maybe for a year, maybe more, it depends on your goal, without having a credit, without having guarantees that you are going to succeed, but you are just going to believe in that. Because if you are not believing, what are you doing? Nobody else is going to believe that. And that's the thing, because it depends purely on you. Are you able to achieve this or not? And I also, in one of my videos, I mentioned about marathon. It's like you're running the marathon, and the thing is that when you start running, you don't know when it's gonna be over, and you don't know what kind of obstacles you need to overcome. And the thing is that you are running, sometimes you're walking, sometimes you are falling and you need to get up, sometimes you are climbing the mountain, but still you need to move in that direction. And the thing is that you don't know how long this marathon can be, and if for someone it could be 25 miles, for you it can be 100, 200, 500, and you cannot know it. As long as you run, you're on your way, but you don't know how long it's gonna actually take. And let's presuppose it's gonna take like 3 years, and then you finally reach some kind of significant goal. And then looking back, just imagine the person who was 3 years ago, and if you was told you need to run 200, 300 miles, you would never even start it. You would never start that marathon that is gonna take so long, that when you need to endure so much pain and you need to surmount so many problems, so many obstacles, you wouldn't be ready to start, because you would start thinking it's gonna be so hard, or I'm not prepared. And so the thing is that you're just starting, and as long as you run, you're getting closer. And that's why the success, which is abstract concept, right? Everyone sees it in its own way, but some kind of success is so precious, because people are not willing to sacrifice some things for a lot of time, some pleasure, because most of the time you need to put your work in, because your outcome is gonna correlate with the income. And normally people are not willing to do this. And so if you just have an aim, you cannot just start doing this, then you realize, all right, it's hard, and give up. You are not gonna get credit for that, all right? And if world worked in that way, everyone would get that credit. And that's the easiest thing to realize. Why is this so hard? Because if everyone could do this, it wouldn't be that precious. And that's why it's so hard, and that's why most of the people are respected. That's why if you're a kind of successful person, you have a lot of money, for example, which is such a superficial perception of the success, but still put it in this way. If there's a rich person and you see this, the first association, he must be went through a lot of things. If he managed to afford this, he managed to do something that other people cannot do. And that's why he's respected. But then you just communicate with the person, you actually understand, is this like he achieved this, or he inherited, or I don't know, parents provided him with that. It doesn't actually matter. What matters is that it is actually something rare, because when you start going, you don't know when will you get something. You cannot know what world prepared for you for tomorrow. You don't know what the God prepared for you today and tomorrow, and what you're gonna find, who you're gonna meet, and what's gonna happen to you. There are too much imponderable factors that we cannot predict. And that's why we don't need to guess how our life is going to look in 10 years according to the actions you take now. You don't need perfection, you just need movement, because the only wrong action is inaction. Because when you act, even in the wrong way, first, if you fail, you get experience, and with that experience, you have wider understanding of what you want, what you can do, what you cannot do, what you need to learn to become better. And the second thing, you can succeed. That's all. And if you don't try, you don't get none of those. And that's why the idea is to start and never considering give up, never considering giving up. Because if you actually expect to get something in the sooner future, you are doomed to give up. You are doomed to fail, because you are not focused on work that you need to put in. You are focused on the outcome you want to get from this, and it always takes so long. It always takes a waste number of hours, of days. And the thing is that, for example, in my case, I'm always trying something, to look for more ideas, to try this and that. Like currently I have my internship alongside my studies, which is hard to combine, but it's something that I want to try. And actually it's been only second week of my internship, and I feel that it's hard. Probably it's not really for me because it's not exactly what I want. But how can I know this if it's only been 2 weeks? I'm not even into this stuff completely. And if it feels hard, I still need to keep doing this to understand what's that, how it works, you know? Because if I'm going, just imagine you're starting, you are passionate about something, you start this, then you realize it's harder than you expected, and you give up and you start another field that seems to be interesting, but it's interesting just because you don't know anything about this. You can see some successful cases when people achieve something, and you think you are going to do this in the same way. But when you start realizing what it actually takes, when you start learning about that area, there's understanding what it actually takes. And then you just decide to give up. So there's the actual price that you need to pay. And I think about 100%, just you underestimate how much effort you will be needed to spend, to put in order to get what you want. And it's why nobody can tell you this, and you cannot know this, because if you knew, you would never start. All right, I somehow tried to explain this idea, and probably I will try the next time explain it better, because I have not probably mentioned everything that I wanted to mention. And yes, but I guess the what I meant is approximately understandable about the requirements for the achieving, why it's considered to be, why it's perceived to be so hard, why it's so respectful when you actually achieve something. And as we see, but it's not even bad that most of the people don't do this, because most of the people don't actually have that high aim, and I think you need to aim really high in this life to start changing something. And one of the most important things is mindset and skills you possess of. Those two things will allow you to see the world otherwise and to provide something for people otherwise. So that's why it's so important. All right, I will try to go briefly through my day because it's 10:30 p.m. Damn, so late. I woke up, I had an exam went well, and then I went to the gym, and it was pretty interesting because today I trained my back, but then one guy came who I got to know a couple of days ago, who's a bit older than me and who has his business, and with who I had a great conversation then about like perception of the world, about scheduling our days, like how we live our life and so on. And then today we also like started talking about different kind of stuff, and instead of being 1 hour in the gym, I was 3 hours, and I have not done all the exercises I needed to do because we literally talked for 40 minutes, then we did one set, and then we talked for 40 minutes more. And it's really great, and and for me, it's very important. It seems like 3 hours just to talk sounds like waste of time, but it's not just about talking, it's about quality of the conversation, because actually we talked about a lot of things, and for me it was really interesting because we were talking about sport, we were talking about religion, yeah, and we were talking about business. uh, I was asking him how it works and how he did all this stuff, how he manages this all this stuff. Then we talked also a bit about studies, and it's such a great conversation that I really enjoy because I feel that it's a person with whom we can talk deeply. It's the person who actually understands something in this life, who does not live superficially, being carried, I don't know, about games, about smoking weed, about something like that. And it's really nice. So it was really a great conversation, and always, not always, it's like, for example, this time, after having this such a long conversation, I was thinking a lot about all the things, and I even wrote down a lot in my journal just because I want to keep those ideas to reflect on them even more. All right, so afterwards, then I came home, and at 3 p.m., I had my breakfast. 3 p.m. After that, yeah, I came in my room, I started journaling, and I decided to take a nap. So I wanted to take a nap 30 minutes. As always, it took 1 hour. And then I managed to start studying only at 6 p.m. Then I spent 1 hour 30 minutes for my internship, and my day wasn't scheduled. Sounds as excuse, but it's my fault. Um, I went after that to have my dinner, and then after dinner I could have about 30 minutes to study, but I didn't study because I don't know why. I was just holding the phone um, in my hand, and I decided that I need to study a bit vocabulary about gym. Bro, because today I talked with this guy in the gym, and he explained me what kind of muscles are applied when we do a specific exercise, why he prefers to this and that. For example, for me, I would say I work more as power lifter, but I'm just a guy who likes to increase my weight constantly, the weight I work with. And even though my technique is not always correct, because never mind, it's hard to explain. It's still fine for me to grow, but it's not the best ever technique because I have this insatiable desire to grow my weight always, and weight that I work with. But that guy, he's bodybuilder. He he never he never takes really high weights, just, I don't know, to for his ego or to impress someone. He literally works for his body, and it's amazing. And he explained me the science behind this because he likes to read about that stuff. And yeah, also we talked about social media. he said that he has a couple of projects, and when he finishes them, he's going to start making social media. And it's something that really inspires me, because I also want to do social media. And I feel that actually I want to try to make one video this weekend, but I'm not sure about it. I will try. And yeah, I would like also to get into this stuff step by step. It's not like spamming the videos, it's just making one with a good quality, with a good context, with a good information, one video per week. If I can cope it would be great. If I could cope it would be great. But we will see. And so after that, yeah, I reflect about this stuff, and now I'm about to go to sleep, and tomorrow I want to wake up, and I want to read, and I want to study French. I finally finished with my exams. I finally have more time, and I will try to schedule my day in the way when I have time for English. I literally want to improve my English. I communicate in English, and it's so nice. It's such an amazing language. And even talking with this guy, he knows 5 languages, all right? He speaks them fluently. It's not like he just knows them like A2 level. He speaks them fluently, 5 languages. And he said that out of 5 languages, actually he needs only English. Because for work he uses English, and he communicates every day mostly in English. And that's also one of the reasons for me that, how to say it, that confirms my expectation about this language, because it's the only language that I want to reach level like native speaker, like C2 level of English, like being absolutely fluent, to have an ability to express my thoughts in a clear way, and to know the names of titles of everything, like how everything goes around, because there are still a lot of things that I don't know how to describe, just because I lack of vocabulary. I don't know a lot of basic vocabulary, all right? And sometimes it doesn't allow me to explain something. So I want to find time for English, I want to find time for French, I want to find time for reading book. Those 3 things tomorrow I will do in the morning 100%, just because before going to the gym. Yes. All right, that's it. I mentioned everything that I wanted to mention, and we will see how this life will be going. It's so interesting, this the life, how it works. Sometimes I analyze it, and it's so interesting. It requires you never stop. Just never stop, even when it feels like there's nothing that can help you. You just keep going, and then the miracle might happen. In any random moment, you just need to put some effort and continuously put those effort, and eventually it's gonna pay off. Because if you just do this genuinely because you want to do this, you will succeed. And you need to understand why you do this, which is very important. All right, that's all for today. You mentioned everything that I wanted, so see you tomorrow.